Howdy folks, just an updated version of the pre-warm up, just to improve any physical activity in general. Starting with shoulder rolls, rolling the shoulders back, and see if you can inhale as the shoulders come up and back, and then exhale as you bring them down. Now you can let the rib cage move as much as you want. There's no wrong way to do any of these exercises. What's important is that they help you connect with your body, how it feels, and what capabilities or limitations you might have. From here, we go into some swings or rotations. So I did initiate this from my torso, but I'm letting my arms hang heavy from here. It's going to help the shoulders relax away from the ears. And if you're preparing for a sport with rotation in it, be it golf or tennis, pretty much anything throwing a ball, this is a nice way to loosen up the area between the rib cage and the pelvis. And then moving on to some hip circles, taking it around. You want to go a few times in one direction, then change directions, go the other. Take a moment to notice if you run into any roadblocks. You'll know to honor that during your bout of physical activity. Good. And you can do some with the legs turned out as well, going both directions, and sometimes even with the legs turned in. So the more time you have, the more of these things you can practice with. Going on to ankle bends, right? So you want your legs hip width apart. That means right under these hip bones right here. When you bend the knees, let them come forward. When you bend the knees, let them just open as they bend. Not a lot. We don't want to restrict that space between the knees. That's going to allow us to lengthen through the spine, scoop the lower abdominals. Good. And I'll get a fabulous stretch in the ankles and the knees. From here, we go into a more wide-legged position, this time slightly turned out at the hips so we can move through that full range of motion. Your arms are our spider hands. Turn the palms up, bring the finger pads together, keep this gorgeous open shape across the chest, and bring the hips back as you dive the chest forward, trying to keep the torso moving as a single piece. The spine, the head, and the pelvis working together. Everything working together. Allowing the hips to go back to lower. Also, allowing the leg to coil open at the hip joint. This will also lubricate the hip joint. And then finally, just some squats. Come back to these spider hands and add a knee flexion to that hip hinge. Notice how low we can go. Now that we've allowed the knees to bend forward and allow the thighs to draw away from one another as we come down. And you come up to the top. Bring the feet back together. Good, relax the shoulders. And we'll turn the head to the right and to the left. And I save the neck for last so that when we move the body and warmed up, we're actually helping the neck release, so that by the time we get up to this part, we have a lot more space to work with. And then ear to shoulder, And then the final one, nodding, yes. So just lowering chin and bringing it back up to neutral. Again, nodding the chin down and back up to neutral. Next time we come up to neutral, just let your weight shift forward and you can walk away.